Good day, everyone. Good day, Mamaris. I am the leader of Group 2 from 2C. I am Nicole National, and these are my members.
I am Russell Camarello. I am Mariel Tali.
And I am Edward S. Robas.
Let me present our concept paper in macroeconomics titled The Influence of Trade on Employment in the Philippines. The chapter 1 in Rationale. Trade refers to the exchange of goods, services, or resources between individuals, businesses, or countries. It typically involves the buying and selling of items, aiming to fulfill needs or desires that one party cannot satisfy alone. Trade can be domestic or international and is a fundamental aspect of economics and global commerce. Specifically, import in trade refers to the act of bringing goods or services into one country from another for the purpose of selling them domestically. It is a key component of international trade and allows countries to acquire products that are not available locally or that can be produced more efficiently elsewhere. On the other hand, employment rate, it can be the engagement of a person in a work role where they receive remuneration for services or labor provided, often measured as a key indicator of a nation's economic health. A broad range of goods, from capital equipment to consumer goods, due to its growing industrial base and a consumption-driven economy, with imports accounting for a significant share of the country's trade, from the Philippine Statistics Authority, 2023.
And the objectives of the study. The purpose of the study is to investigate the impact of import rate on employment in the Philippines from 1961 to 2024. Specifically, this research aims to determine the trends of trade and employment, analyze the relationship between imports and employment rate in the Philippines. In the conceptual framework, the study has utilized two indicators, the import rate of goods and services and the employment rate. Since the objective of the study is to investigate the impact of import rate on employment in the Philippines from 1961 to 2024, the researchers will gather data from PSA and World Bank. Then, the data will be tested and analyzed through unit root test, autocorrelation, Jarque-Bera test, and VARM. By this, the researchers will be able to identify the influence of import rate towards employment rate in the Philippines. By this, the researchers will identify the influence of import rate towards employment rate in the Philippines.
So the research gap of the study is a large portion of the literature has focused on FDI, import and export, and how they affect employment. Using the data from 1961 to 2024, this study will primarily examine the import rate and how it influences the employment rate in the Philippines.
The research design of this study will adopt a quantitative research design using a correlational approach to identify and measure the relationship between the import rate and the employment rate. The use of quantitative is basically the study will involve the collection and analysis of numerical data to understand pattern, trends, and relationships. The application correlational is since the research investigates the relationship between import rate and the employment rate, and the goal is to determine if changes in the import rate are associated with changes in the employment rate. This approach will allow the researcher to explore how fluctuation in import rates might influence employment. In particular, it examines the longitudinal association between these factors using a time series spanning 1961 to 2024. So the data and data sources of this study use secondary data of official government sources, including the World Bank and the Philippine Statistic Authority.
So the econometric model was developed through regression analysis where the the econometric model is ER equals B plus B sub 1 times IM plus E, where ER is the employment rate in the Philippines. So the econometric model was developed through regression analysis, where the formula is ER equals B sub 0 plus B sub 1 times IM plus E, where ER equals employment rate in the Philippines, IM equals import rate of goods and services in the Philippines, and E is the error term. That's the end of our presentation of our concept paper in macroeconomics titled The Influence of Trade on Employment in the Philippines.